It's my dog. I can't do it.
Oh, no.
Hey, hey, hey. Sushi. Hey.
Okay, we're live.
Okay, we are live with the Virgin Authors. Welcome to the show. The Virgin Authors are three friends bonded by our love of writing. We are struggling to navigate the publishing world. And writing can be a lonely profession. We've decided that supporting other authors along the journey is just as important as our daily word count. My name is Lissa Reese, and I am a Virgin Author.
Hi, Alyssa. Okay, I'm Jana Vandelar, you guys, and I'm so happy to be here.
Hey, Jana.
You can tell.
And I am Mandy McGuire. Tonight, we are very excited to welcome our first guest. Everyone say hello to Rebecca Bloom.
Hey, Rebecca. Hey.
Hi, guys.
You are truly our virginal guest. So
Wow. It's been a while since I've been
pressure.
anybody's virginal anything. So that's awesome.
we're so happy you're here.
So before I give Rebecca's bio and introduce her to the Facebook Live group, let's make sure that we have some people on and that we are live.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. So sorry.
Okay.
Yep, I can see us.
Can you
You
see
can
us?
see us live.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. I'm
Okay, we have Alexandra is excited to be here. So we are up and running.
Yay.
Hi, Alexandra.
Hey, Alexandra.
Fun.
Okay, I'm supposed to be manning this, Rebecca, and I'm getting it. So here we go. I mean, not manning anything, but
That's okay.
I'm just
Oh.
zooming, right? I'm just zooming.
You are just zooming. You are good to go.
Good.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Rebecca here. She is a writing and storytelling coach, editor, and writer. Rebecca has devised and led memoir classes and writers' workshops, helping writers get their stories told. She has also coached writers and speakers in genres, including historical fiction, pilots, screenplays, pitches, business, communications, TED
Okay,
Talks, and
sorry.
more.
Sorry, I don't know how to turn that down. Okay, I'm so sorry. You guys, we are going to get so good at this pretty soon. But I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Let me
Okay,
figure out how to turn
Rebecca's,
that
she is a former workplace and benefits attorney. She has served nonprofits in the education and women's health space her entire career. Her longest and proudest affiliation is with the Bay Area Cancer Connections, where she has served as a patient advocate and advisor for women fighting breast and ovarian cancer for over 23 years.
Wow.
In addition to all of that greatness, she is kind and warm and highly supportive of other authors. She is the perfect first guest for our show. Thank you so much for coming on.
You guys, I'm
Yay.
so happy to be here to support you. This is so exciting.
We're
Thank
so
you.
excited to have you here. I'm hoping this won't work. Hey, really quick before we start though, we need to talk about the Virgin favorites because we do have, Rebecca, I don't know if you saw, well, it was our practice one, but we do like some games here and there, but we'd love to know what your favorite writing drink is. Everybody who's listening, who is on here, even though I can't quite get on here officially, but whoever's on here, we want to know what our favorite drinks are. And so my favorite official drink when I'm writing is, here it is. Okay. It's actually this when I'm writing.
Double
I'm
shot.
making it more glamorous tonight in a wine glass because everything's more glamorous and it tastes better. But normally I do drink just regular diet ginger ale, which is none of this is healthy. And you guys are going to put me down, I know, because
Nonsense.
No.
What's your
you
favorite?
guys win something later. Okay, so what do you drink, Rebecca, when you're writing?
For me, it's all about the ginger and the lemon kombucha, which happens to match my dress. How about that? But I
Landed on
double
that.
fist it. I always have tea. Always have tea. So both.
Very cool.
Mandy, how about you?
I have tea. I'm always a black tea. I'm in my Seattle Starbucks mug tonight. Always tea, just like Rebecca. And I also brought mine because I wanted to show people. This is my favorite tea. It's called Murchie's. And This one's called Sugar Maple. So it's sweetened with like maple syrup. It's so
Ooh, yum.
delicious. It's from my favorite little tea shop in Victoria, Canada.
Oh, I was wondering if it was local or what. Yeah, okay, cool.
So I also have a cup full of tea. My favorite tea is a ginseng oolong tea, and I can't start my day without it. But just for tonight, just because it's been a rough night, I am also drinking sake.
Ooh.
So
I just like to
Forgive
say
me
it
for
fast.
that.
It makes it more fun. So,
Yes.
okay, you guys write it in. And as soon as I get this all figured out, it's not working now. It's like I'm feeling like it says I'm ending Facebook Live. So the other thing that we have to talk about is a game, because you two can. And Rebecca, we are sending you this so that you won't match
Swag.
author's mug. You just need to give us your address.
Can
I'm
do.
going to mug this week.
Yeah. But okay, so here's the question. How many times, the number of times Mandy submitted her third novel to agents before landing one? Doot, 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 doot.
Type it in the Facebook Live comments.
Thank you, because I don't know how I'm doing it right. Okay, that's exciting. So everybody submit this, because we don't even know you're here unless you submit it. So please submit. I'm not.
And what she means by submit is
Yeah.
comment on the Facebook
Yeah,
page.
comment. See me.
Put a comment. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're listening.
Yeah, okay, so guess how many times she did her third novel. I'm trying to do it before getting for agents, right? This is for agents. How many times she submitted her third novel to agents?
Yes.
Okay, go on. Let's go on. I want
Okay.
to hear about Rebecca. This is
Yes, we do.
exciting.
So what do you want to chat with us today about?
But, guys, I thought we would start high up tonight and talk a little bit about the paths to publishing, because the world is really kind of complicated. It isn't the way it used to be, where you sent it in to an agent, you got a yes or a no, and then you sat and waited, et cetera, et cetera. The world really has changed. And, with the democratization of publishing comes a whole lot of complexity, a whole lot of profiteering, quite frankly, and a whole lot of paths to choose from. So I've worked with a lot of authors, and I thought maybe I'd give you guys a bit of an overview and just make it quick and then take some questions. Does that sound right to you?
That sounds great. Can I just do a couple of shout outs here first? We have Alexandra Engelson. She drinks tea, wine, and water. She guessed that Mandy submitted once before she got her agent. That is really, really kind of you. Michelle Fraser is here. She guessed 8 times. Suzanne guessed 3 times. Gita is getting warmer. She guessed 23 times. None of you have hit it yet. Keep guessing for your chance to win.
And then welcome, you guys. So now we know you guys are here. So whoever else is here, please join in, and thank you. I'm sorry. And I do have it on now, Alyssa, so I can finally see it.
Okie doke. So let's get back to Rebecca and paths to publication.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, the first thing I think you have to ask yourself is, what is your purpose? Do you just want to be published? Are you looking for a legacy? Do you want to make art? Do you want to get rich? Do you want to create or enhance your platform or your career, or venture out into a new one? And this is a really big thing to think about. You don't just go pie in the sky for something. You really got to think it through. What is your purpose? So that's the first thing I always start with when I talk to people, because it is a complicated landscape, and it's really helpful to think of what is your way in. And if you have a sense of what your goal really is, it's so much easier to match your goals to the options that are out there. So that's the first thing.
I like that.
And then the second thing is, genre really makes a difference in this brave new world of publishing. I don't think people talk enough about this. People speak in these generalities. They say, you'll never get into the big publishers because it's like the Ivy Leagues, they say. Or, you cannot sell a self-published book, period. You'll hear those things over and over again.
And we have.
Oh, I'm sure.
We have.
And the fact of the matter is, think about what you're doing. If it's a memoir, or it's just sort of generalized fiction, okay, that's true. That's really hard to sell as a self-published book. I would have to agree. However, if you're writing something that's a specialty kind of book, maybe it's different. I mean, my example from my own life, and I hate it when people come on these things and talk about their own book the whole time. So this is the only time I'm talking about mine, unless you ask.
We'll
Um,
ask you.
But that's fine because I don't care, because I sold enough copies and I'm done. So it doesn't really matter. But the thing of it is, we did a very specific cookbook that was going after a very specific market, which was young adults as they venture out to really live on their own. So college grads, let's say, or, some of those precocious people who are still in college, like that. And that was actually pretty easy to sell the way we did it. And when we go through the different kinds of publishing, I can talk more about that, but not too much, because I really don't want to talk about my book that much. It doesn't really matter.
Cookbooks are always great. They're always good. And yours looks like a fun one. So
Yeah, but they're hard to sell. If you just do a generalized cookbook, they're really hard to sell.
are they?
Yeah, but then again, if you do, a Instapot cookbook, it could sell like hotcakes, or a
Right.
very specific cuisine, let's say,
Right.
or
Okay.
something to deal with a specific health issue. Like if you search the anti-cookbook, you will often find the anti-inflammatory cookbook, because that's a really popular one. And so it rises up in the searches,
Okay.
so things like that, little niches
There you are.
sometimes, because if you think about how you sell a book, and you have to sell your own book when you're a virgin author anyway, even if you get a publisher. So when you think about how to sell your book, you have to think about niches. You have to think about places to sell it. Anyway, so we'll go on with that. Okay, so that brings us to traditional publishing. So Lisa, you know about this now, this agenting process with the query letters. And there's an agent who gives a class on Story Summit and elsewhere named Laura Mazer, who is so smart and really, really knows the space better than anyone. She really knows how to think about getting an agent and writing a query letter. And I've taken her classes and I highly recommend her. But anyhow, there's these ways of doing things that differ, again, by genre. If it's nonfiction, you're going to need a proposal. A proposal is basically a mini business plan.
Mhm.
So if you've got skills from the outside world where you've written grants or business plans or anything like that, that actually gives you a leg up, because it's really similar. You're going to be describing, what is this book? Who is the market? What's your what's your platform? How are you going to sell it? So like I said, it's a business plan.
Right.
Then if
So
you have fiction,
you're talking, I'm sorry, that's specifically nonfiction.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
because nonfiction, you don't need a finished book. You need usually a couple sample chapters that you
Oh,
submit along with your proposal. So it's a totally different process than putting your head down and writing an entire manuscript. The only genre that's a little hybrid is memoir. Memoir, they treat it a little more like fiction. They want to see the whole thing. But any other kind of nonfiction, they want to know your concept. And they'll look at a couple sample chapters and they really want to see how you can sell it, because they don't want to bet on it unless they think you can.
Right.
So, you'll get an agent who'll say, love it, sounds great. I'm never going to be able to sell it because you're not famous. That's what happens a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That happens a lot in the nonfiction world. Whereas fiction, if you're just that brilliant, they might let you in if they like the vibe of it and they read it. If somebody reads it and likes it, it's a different thing. Many people, before they even try for an agent, are going to hire a book coach. I've been hired myself quite a few times in this way.
and what does the book coach do?
Never heard of a book coach before.
So a book coach is a burgeoning business. There are even companies out there now that will certify you as a book coach for a lot of money. But a book coach is usually somebody who has been an editor. Either they've worked at a publishing company or they've just been a person like me who's been editing every genre their whole life, even though I was a lawyer. So I don't know how that happened, but it did. And it's somebody who really gets you through building your manuscript, which is, a separate thing from building a manuscript is a different skill than just telling a story. You
So
really have to.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but so you normally would hire a book coach before you write or as you're writing, not after it's finished?
A lot
Because
of people
the
do.
editor-
A
Okay.
lot of people do, but we're living in a world where everybody needs a coach for everything, right? Not just
That's
books.
true.
Have you noticed?
We've all been coaching each other for the last 2
Right.
years.
And I mean,
Well,
it's
And I did hire, she called herself a writing coach. I hired a writing coach to help me write the first draft of my first novel.
there you go.
But from there, there's so much further to go.
You need that if
Exactly.
I don't mean to keep interrupting, but do you need that if you're already written books? Because there's people like me that are
No.
wrinkly and old that have, it's like I've written a ton and I've gotten a lot of good hits, but I've never hired a coach to help me. I might need it.
I don't,
But
I,
would it be an editor at this point once you?
It
and I know
could be.
I'm a forward and backwards, but the book coach is totally new to me. I never. had-
yeah, a lot of people will just hire a great developmental editor once they've created the shape of their narrative. And then they go, I need somebody who really is going to beat this up and tell me how this works and say, chapter 8 is really chapter 2, right? Somebody who can see it
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So
Right.
yes, I mean, it's like anything else. Like I said, some people, everybody's hiring nutrition coaches now too. Me, I just cook dinner, but you know what I mean? That's
a marriage coach. Sorry, Jack. I think he's on.
So we could have a whole Rebecca Bloom deep dive on coaching.
Well, really
A whole
quick,
series.
Alexandra just wrote in a good question. Dang it. What's the difference? I think she said between a book coach and a writing coach. Is that what you wrote, Alexandra? I just lost it again because I'm
Let me
hitting things. There you are.
What's the difference between a book coach and a writing coach?
I
Yeah.
think it's mostly semantic, but I think a writing coach is a little bit of a wider swath. A writing coach might be somebody who's conversant in more than one genre. And a book coach is specifically, a lot of them are going to do fiction only. A lot of them are going to do nonfiction
Okay,
only.
that's a good
And
question.
their purpose is to help you get an agent.
Or just get your stuff in
Done.
shape
Yeah.
so that it's camera ready for an agent. And you may decide if we're still in traditional publishing, but let's say we move beyond that. I mean, I really only have one more thing to say about traditional publishing, which is you can be unagented and go after the smaller presses.
Mhm.
And,
good.
and people do that and they submit and, still the same basic rules apply. If you want your book to be publishable, you have to think through how much editing do you really need? There's an old saying in law, if you represent yourself, you have an idiot for a client. So there's always that question. Can you be your own editor if you have that skill? I mean, I edited my own book, but that's after I had been an editor for over 20 years. In general, I don't recommend it.
You had experience.
I would double agree with you on that one because I'm the idiot lawyer that represents myself. It's not pretty. I think I'm perfect, but it did not come across like that on the book. So,
Right.
so you need to get editors. Okay, this is great.
So what are the pros and cons of traditional publishing for new authors? Well, if you get through this process, you have way less hassle than if you either go hybrid or self. Why? Because they do a lot of the work. They do the final edits. They help you with the cover design. They deal with the interior design. You don't have to hire people. You don't have to worry your pretty little head over that stuff. And that's a really big deal for some people. Some people just don't want to deal with that stuff. It is, again, I talked about how there are different skill sets besides being a creative, good writer. And, that's a whole level where there's all those things. The cons of going with a publishing company, whether through an agent or not, is you lose control. You make way less money on each book too, but never mind the money. That part's boring.
Not like
right?
we're earning money anyway.
Right. That part's boring anyway. It's like, how many ways are you going to cut that up? Right. But they make a lot of decisions within reason. If they don't like your idea for a cover, they're going to tell you that. They might change your title. They're going to do all that stuff and be really controlling. And then because you're a new author, when it comes to marketing and PR, you're still going to have to do it yourself.
Right.
And spend money on it, most likely.
Right. And still some of the money.
Yeah.
Is the concept really that you're selling them your book basically, and they have full control?
Yeah. I mean, there's negotiations that happen, right? Who gets the film rights? You know, a lot of publishing companies will give you the film rights because they think it's never going to be made into a film, so they don't care. So they go,
Mhm.
okay, sure, yeah, you can have that. But other times, if they think Reese Witherspoon's going to come calling, then they're going to fight you on it. So yeah.
Yes, she's going to come calling for one of us virgin authors at some point.
Oh, say it. Let's
That's
get it
one of
out
our
there.
goals. That's
We're
one
the
of my
oldest
goals for this
virgins-
group.
We're the oldest virgins in the world somehow, but
Sounds great to me, you guys.
Mhm.
So that's all I have to say about traditional publishing. I mean, you've heard a lot of people say a lot of things. I'm sure you've heard self-publishing, you're never going to sell more than 250 books. That's the average. I don't think that's true if you think about the layers of what you're doing and you think about the genre and you hustle, and we'll talk about that when we get to that. But even if you get it published, do you guys know how few books usually sell?
Isn't it
Yeah.
like
The numbers?
1% or something?
I mean, my latest research said 3,000 to 5,000 copies is kind of typical,
Oh, okay.
which isn't that much,
it's usually me buying my own book too, which is
Well,
yes.
there you go. My mom bought like 12 of mine.
I know.
Right.
I bought Jana's book.
Oh, thank
Christmas
you.
for everybody.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did this. Are you buying it to everybody? I
Exactly.
know, but yeah, it's not pretty. but-
Okay, so
No,
then if not traditional, what else have we got?
So there are basically two other choices. So I'm
Right.
going to do the in-betweener first, and that's
Okay.
hybrid publishing. So there are probably like between 15 and 20 hybrid publishers right now, but if you throw a brick on Google, you're going to hit one. I mean, they're growing like
Okay.
crazy. They're popping up like daisies. So you've probably heard of She Writes Press and Spark Press. There's a company called Scribe Media. They're all over the place. I mean, I'm giving you just use the Google. You guys have it. Okay, so how do they do this? Well, so they have like a little bit of a gatekeeper thing where you have to apply. And so you submit, usually it's a portion of your manuscript as opposed to the whole manuscript. And it feels good to be accepted, but everybody gets accepted for something. It's
Mm.
just, what do they accept you for? Some authors who are really polished and maybe they've been even published before by the hybrids, they get to go to the head of the class, cut the line because they don't need coaching. But the business model is they sell you coaching. For a lot of people, they go, well, we love this and we'd really like to publish it someday. But first, we'd like you to go through our coaching process. And some of
And
the
pay.
right, and there's the key. Some of the bigger hybrid presses now outsource the coaching. Remember, I said there's all these growing
Yeah.
book coaches all over the place
Mhm.
getting certified. Well, they work for these book coach companies, and now a lot of these hybrids are outsourcing to them, which might be a box of chocolates, right? We don't know. So that's what happens, and it costs money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in the low thousands, probably is my guess.
And
Okay.
there's no guarantee.
And there's no guarantee.
You're back to that.
Usually, if you go through the coaching, usually the hybrid house will publish your book. There are exceptions. Every once in a while, you'll have a coach call the hybrid person and go, no, this still needs a ghostwriter. There's some kind of quality control going on there, but that's
Yeah.
awkward because somebody just spent a lot of money on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they had to have seen promised to, well, one hopes they saw promise to recommend that you go through the coaching. So, I mean, at that point, if the coach is giving up on you, is it because you're not responding to their suggestions?
I would think so. Not being the operative coach, it's like a little hard to speak to
Yeah.
it, but I would certainly think so. Yes. I mean, it's supposed to be a well-structured system that works, right? So that's the hope. The hope is, 90% of the writers who do coaching end up getting published. But it's also like it's this whole organized thing. Like they take 50 books a cycle, and there's 2 cycles every year, and it's,
Their business model is to make money off the coaching.
yeah. Yeah.
So-
I mean, there's
So
no
what
question.
happens from there then? Say you're successful with your coaching and they publish you. What does that look like?
So what it looks like is $8,500 first of all, about give or take. But what do you get for that? Right? That's what you're asking. You
Yeah.
get a good edit, probably a developmental one and a copy edit. You get a cover, you get an internal design, you get printing, you get ebook support, you get how do I get this into that nightmare of Amazon support, all those things. Because those are things that are actually really a giant pain in the neck.
They're tough.
Yeah,
They're tough.
yeah.
I'm there, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
But probably not promotion or much promotion.
All right. Hey, listen, we are running real short on time. So can we ask you to hit the highlights of what else you did?
Absolutely. So
Sorry,
the
we asked so many questions.
no, it's
I know,
fine.
what's the third one? I do need
Yeah,
that hybrid.
so
and- Yeah.
So the last thing about hybrids I'll say is their big selling point compared to self-publishing, besides we have expert coaches,
Right.
is that they get you into the bookstores. They handle the distribution. And
Right.
that's what they always tell you. And that's like the boogeyman. You can't get into a bookstore yourself.
Right,
Okay.
Not totally true, but I get what they're saying.
right.
Okay. So self-publishing, I'm going to go super quick.
Okay. No, thanks.
You choose good, better, best. You can spend between, I don't know, $5,000 and $10,000 more. It depending on what you do. It's kind of like cafeteria style where they go, well, you can pay for editing. We can do a cover for you. We can do interior design. You can buy this package. You can buy that package. What do you want? And you can save money on this. Like if you have talent, if you're a good graphic designer, you can do the cover yourself. Or if you have a kid who is a good graphic designer, as the case may be. Purely hypothetical. But
Well, the
again,
other way is through Fiverr. I don't mean to interrupt, but Fiverr, that's a great company and they are very,
Yes.
very reasonable. So sorry, but yeah.
No,
'cause
Fiverr's
here's my
awesome.
brother, who's an incredible graphic artist and he's great, but busy. Everybody's got their own lives.
Yeah,
Fiverr's a
it's-
professional thing. Yeah.
right. Bottom line is you're project managing your own thing.
Mhm.
That's really whether you outsource it, whether, you get free labor from your friends and family, it doesn't matter. You're project managing it, right?
Yeah.
And in
Agree.
both cases, you have more control, but marketing and PR are 1000% on you.
On you. That's and it's hard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm done,
But,
guys.
okay, and really quick,
Okay.
hybrid takes more of a percentage, right? Than the traditional would.
Hybrid?
Yeah, the hybrid publishing
No,
route.
because you pay so much money up front.
Oh,
So,
so they don't take any.
so they don't take like
Okay.
that because they already made their money.
All right.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, Jana, did anybody come close?
Yeah, Suzanne did, and she was at 96, which
Woo.
here is the answer. And so we were going to do 2 questions, but she was the
Wow,
only one
that's-
that got up there that many times. 95. So woohoo, Suzanne.
Okay,
I'm
so we're gonna
impressed.
send you out a mug.
Yeah, you need to send your address in the chat to me personally or something. Can you do that, Suzanne? Or does somebody know? Suzanne?
We can get it through Rebecca.
I can
if
get that
that's-
from Suzanne.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so listen, we are out of town and out of town. We are out of time and thank you.
Wait, Gita just wrote, if I'm doing all the promotions, et cetera, when will I have time to write my next book? Yeah, and if I'm getting $8,500 on that note, I am gonna get a facelift, so that's my priority. No, do you have anything with Gita on that? If she's doing, how do
you manage all of the work that you're doing
manage
plus
your
writing?
time?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Hi, Geeta. It's a great question. And you know what it comes down to? You need to make sure that you do what you always do as a writer, which is create your accountability schedule and don't get off it. You do that marketing and that PR and whatever else you have to do at a different time. Do not poach your own schedule. That's the answer.
Do
All
not poach your own schedule.
And there is.
This is my little Rebecca Bloom's, I'm trying to do it so it's a good angle.
That's
The
good.
Anti-cookbook. Look at the carrots on there. They're so bright and beautiful. So it's fine. It's
Love
on
my
Amazon
carrots.
too, correct?
Yes, it
It's on
is.
your website too.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Both.
okay. Yeah, it's a great book, you guys. And I need, you said it's for college students. I thought that could be me. because I'm
Yeah.
pretending to be a college student.
We found it was great for a lot of people during the pandemic, honestly.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
excited.
it's easy and simple. So, what you have in the house is what you make for dinner. So there you go.
That's great.
Yeah, all right, thank you for doing that. And you're a genius. And we are, yes, Rebecca, you are being forced to have. Are they cute?
They're adorable. Yeah. Love 'em.
All right, listen, you can find Virgin Authors here on Facebook Live on the third Thursday of every month, and watch now for our bonus episodes. Next month, the incredibly talented Her Royal Hotness, Sabrina York, will join us for a special edition.
Yeah, bonus edition. That's fun. That's the second Thursday, right?
Mhm. Well, it's not entirely confirmed yet.
We will
But
Yeah.
yes,
post it as soon as we nail
She's
it
definitely
down.
doing it, but we're changed the date on her. So
Yeah.
she's a hero. She does it for us. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Liz.
so please support us on social media. Check out our individual websites and sign up for our newsletters. And you can find all that information on the virginauthors.com website. Then grab your favorite drink or drinks and join us on third Thursday to chat with us and our special guests. We hope you'll be with us next month to hear from our fellow virgin, Stacy Powells, as we discuss
Yay.
our ups and downs with the query process.
Mhm.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Rebecca, so much.
Oh, this was so fun. Thank you.
You're the best. You're not a